is mayor of Skokie, and a substantial part of his job is making sure that all of its residents feel that they are part of the fabric of this village. To make sure that every person who lives in Skokie has a place to go for questions, has people to talk to help them in any way, and he strives to have people from all cultures
coming together in Skokie is a program that brings all of our people as well as our institutions together to learn about ourselves and each other, to experience our mutual history as well as our humanity. This year, coming together, we'll be studying and celebrating the ancient and historic Assyrians from Mesopotamia. Who are the Assyrians? There are our neighbors, there are friends, my colleagues in the village, all of the institutions for coming together to present this important program. Thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to working with all of you on this year's program. Thank you.
2 years ago, 5 women sat around a lunch table and talked about what we could do to make our community even better. We wanted to think of ways to celebrate our diversity, but not in a 1 or 2 day festival, which is wonderful, but we wanted a more intense experience. And since we had a librarian at our table and a writer also, we felt that through reading, through literature, we could give people a greater understanding. First of all, we chose the Assyrian community because they are a vibrant, strong, positive force in our community. This is the first year, however, that we have chosen a group that does not specifically have a country, a physical country, that they are living in. However, they work so hard to preserve their rich culture that we were extremely impressed. We have chosen 3 books, and Carolyn will be talking about that. One of the books, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Now, this is the first known literature to mankind. It comes from Mesopotamia, 3,500 years before Christ, which has existed longer than Shakespeare. Recorded time, we learn so much from it. I feel when I read this epic, I'm touching the Assyrians and the Sumerians and the Babylonians from all those years past. So we have not only 3 major books and a book for younger children, but we are flying in 2 authors, which means that we will have many more opportunities to bring the authors of these books to the public through the elementary school. We have a new partner this year in the Oriental Institute of the University of Chicago, a traveling exhibition featuring art, sculpture, maps, and cultural artifacts, which are going to travel to both of our high schools and to the Skokie Library. We're also having a field trip. We are stepping outside of Skokie, and this is very exciting. The Oriental Institute has invited us to come, and the high schools have kindly offered bus service, and we're going to go to the Oriental Institute. People have to look at their booklets. These are very important, and find out what the dates are for these events. We are just tremendously impressed by the length and breadth of our new friends, the Assyrians, and it has been a true honor to work with them.
Nominated to speak about the books that we selected. Now, as Susan was explaining, we really feel that to learn more about a culture, there's nothing like being able to read and discuss with other people. It really gets you in to a deeper level when you start to read about a culture. And we're so excited about the selections for this year. One of the things that we try to do with the books that we select is to provide some understanding of some of the key cultural concepts about the culture. And one of the things we came up with for the Assyrian culture is, this is ancient. this culture is so old. How can we help people understand what it's like to have a culture that goes back thousands of years? This is almost incomprehensible. You know, especially here in the United States, we think something's old. I was just on the East Coast, and they go, oh wow, this is from 17, you know, whatever. That's not old. You know, that's old for us in the U.S., but this isn't old. I mean, we're talking old, and they go back to the ancient Assyrian culture. And so we wanted people to appreciate that, what an ancient culture it was. And so there are questions about translation, and I know we had a discussion of this at our own staff day here at the library in mid-December, led by one of our librarians who had researched some different translations and talked about the nuances of meaning and just, you know, when you read Gilgamesh and you see that these are two men, there are questions about immortality. How do you achieve lasting fame, and what does it mean, the fact that we all have to face the fact that we are mortal, and trying to get beyond that and trying to leave a mark somehow. They're refugees in the face of war, and it's not only their journey across the mountains to get away from the land that is under attack, but it follows through to see what happens and how some of them eventually get back. So I think that's an important aspect of the book, because you see what happens. How do people survive this? Not just survive the immediate crisis of the attack and the fleeing, but what happens in the ensuing years, and how do they come to terms with certain things? How do they carry on with their life? And that's what the story that we get in Home is Beyond the Mountains. It is fiction, I should say, but it's based on true story that she tells here. Actually, this is a compilation of pieces written by individual young people about their own experience and impressions. Central theme to the Assyrian peoples, which is the fleeing and the refugee status and the fact that they no longer have a homeland, is written by two young Assyrian authors, and you'll notice that this opens the opposite way from the way we traditionally do in the West. So it enables you to see something about the Assyrian language and how it appears. The book is written in Assyrian and in English. It's called Moon. Parents who may be more comfortable with the old language. And the children, of course, are maybe more conversant in English. But they can share this together. And it's a way of, within a family, bridging the cultural gap and having the children understand the rich cultural tradition that they're growing up in. So we're excited to have this book as well that is written by two Assyrians. So as you see, we've broadened our offerings, but each of these was selected for a particular reason. We have two of the authors coming, Deborah Ellis, the author of Children of War, and Celia Barker Lottridge. And you'll see when you get the booklet the number of activities that will be occurring where you can meet both of those authors. So
families in our district now that will be able to see their culture and ethnic history highlighted. Coming together in Skokie has really been a catalyst in District 219 to begin parent support groups and to begin partnerships. And the ongoing ethnic parent groups that we have formed and that I hope will form as a result of coming together in Skokie this year with our Assyrian parents really does validate our research. In fact, of the groups that we have formed, the parents and students become even more involved in our school and their community. They begin networking with each other to maximize the opportunities and supports available to them.
Thank you very much, First Lady of Skokie, Mrs. Susan Van Duzen, and many thanks to the panelists as well, and for you for being here. As was noted previously, we wouldn't even be here if it weren't for 5 notable women that sat around a table and came up with this idea of coming together in Skokie. And so I would be remiss if I didn't thank them individually. First Lady of Skokie, Mrs. Susan Van Duzen, Carolyn Anthony, Dr. Ngata, Sheila Gilani, and Usha Kamal, a few. So if I do, please don't sue. Actually, sue me. I'm an attorney. I can defend myself. But without, excluding any one of them, the Assyrian Universal Alliance Foundation, the Assyrian Chaldean Syriac Student Movement, the Assyrian National Council of Illinois, the Assyrian American Civic Club of Chicago, and of course, the Assyrian students of Niles West and Niles North. Having said that, I will take this opportunity to say the following. Growing up, my dad, Edward Tash, he was very much like the father in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Any word, any concept, anything I may have held in my hands, he would find a way to tell me how the Assyrians were behind it. Now, I mean that literally. And so it made, I actually would escape, trying to have these conversations with him because I was young. I didn't particularly care. However, growing up, growing older, I soon realized that he was in fact right. Whether we're talking about the first irrigation system, first codification of human rights, the first musical notes, the fact that there's 360 degrees in a circle, the fact that there's 180 degrees in a triangle, and on and on and on. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I should have really listened. Of course I didn't. But the bit that I just shared with you is just the tip of the iceberg. And so I was tapped in order to say a few remarks, in order to invite each and every one of you to partake in what will be a journey of a lifetime, so to speak. It will take you thousands of years back. It will show you who we are, where we came from, and the contributions that we have made to civilization. Now, I will end with the following. I'm particularly keen on language, and I was very much interested in coming together in Skokie, those 4 words. And I would posit that the focus is on the word together. Because when we are talking about CTIS, we're not talking about any one particular culture that shines more brightly or is better. However, we are talking about the fact that we are better when we do come together. So with that, I invite you to join us, and on behalf of the Assyrian community, I thank you very much.
Remind you that on February 25th, from 10 a.m. to noon, the Skokie Park District will again host this celebration of the Assyrian community. It will feature interactive dancing, the sampling of the food, and fun activities for the children. And I truly believe that CTIS has been invaluable for the last 2 years. It continues to enrich the diverse culture of Skokie.
Spoken in the hall on a given day, and which is, but Oakton is a learning community, and this is a larger picture of what a face-to-face community, but we have the larger community, and so we're all participating together. How it has really come to actually be in practice is that we're bringing together our student body and the non-traditional age people together to create programs. So one of them is going to be on February 10th when we have our Assyrian Festival, which I invite you to on a Friday night, where we'll have dancing and singing and food. But the students are coming together at Oakton. So we're, it's community within community, and we're really excited to build this and to grow it. So we invite you to come to Oakton's programs, and thank you very much.
And I know there are other programs going on at some of the elementary schools. One of them is Highland that has been involved, and it's just such a privilege to share this, not only with adults, but with children and all of our students throughout the community. So thank you very much, and I invite you.
But now everybody knows, and thank you, God, and thank you, all of you, for your efforts in recognizing the Assyrian.
For people who want to partake in the programs and stuff to read that specific book?
We are, and we've purchased these in quantity. We have these in quantity. We have these available, so if there's a book group that wants to discuss Gilgamesh or Home is Beyond the Mountains or Children of War, we have sets that are available, and you can get 8 or 10 copies along with some discussion.
Have you gotten any feedback at all from other communities? The way the Festival of Cultures has become a blueprint for a lot of other events.
And to my knowledge, that was the first time that in one professional program like that, we had a public librarian and academic librarian and a school librarian on the same symposium.